smells like chicken. Barbecue chicken, smoked and smoked bacon. Oh, some cheddar cheese. Oh, heaven! Absolute heaven! Oh my God, are we filming? Oh, hi. Movies. Movie wrap up. I'm hungry. Can I film and review movies at the same time? And eat? I don't know. This is a good sandwich, by the way. Oh. Anyway. It's not brie cheese, it's cheddar cheese, but never mind. Anyway, here we go. Movie wrap-up video. Let's see what movies I've been watching this week while I finish eating a sandwich. Roll the titles, please.
You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up episode 42 right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is Early Man.
So the first movie I watched this week, by the way, was Early Man, which I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. From the studio that brought us movies like Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run, we have the it's a barbecue chicken sandwich. Oh, it's doing a repeat on me. But anyway, we do have the film Early Man, which, by the way, I've never seen before. This hasn't been one of those films that have been a top priority to watch until recently, when I found out I only, at the time, had 6 days left to watch this over on the BBC iPlayer streaming service, which is why I have given this film a watch now. So what did I think of this film? Well, like most of the Aardman films we have mostly seen in the past, it doesn't outstay its welcome with a short running time of just under 1 hour and 20 minutes. So this is a great film to put on for those who have short attention spans, or just for a quick family-friendly film to watch. But I think it does have enough time to tell the story that the film wanted to tell. There are a few jokes in here which I did find funny throughout the film as well, which was great. And you do have quite the cast member list who lend their voices for this movie, as you have Eddie Redmayne, Tom Hiddleston, Maisie Williams, Miriam Margolyes, Timothy Spall, Rob Brydon, Johnny Vegas and Mark Williams, all lending their voices in this animated family-friendly movie. I will say that I did enjoy this movie, and if I do come across this film on another streaming platform in the future, then there is the likely chance that I will give the film a watch again for sure.
Shaun the Sheep, the movie.
Next up, sticking with the Aardman Studios films and Shaun the Sheep, the movie, I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. Shaun the Sheep, the movie is from Aardman Studios, and also I will say is also loosely based on the TV series, which I will admit I have seen a few episodes of the TV series, but not many though. Is this a film that you would need to have constant attention to? I definitely would say so, because if you just had this film on for background noise, it definitely would not work as that, because this film barely has any dialogue in the film, so therefore you would be rather lost if you had just jumped into the film halfway through, not knowing what is actually going on. This is the first time that I have seen this movie, similar to Early Man, so therefore I have given this film a watch. So what did I think of the film? Similar to Early Man, this movie does have a short running time, just clocking in at just under 1 hour and 20 minutes. So this is an ideal movie for those who want a quick family friendly movie to put on before they start their day or have a short attention span. But that being said though, there are a few jokes in here which I did snigger at times, but I will say that I think this film would be more targeted at a slightly younger audience, maybe those who have seen a lot more Shaun the Sheep TV episodes than I have will definitely enjoy this a lot more than I did, to be honest. Is this a film I would happily watch again? Maybe so in the future, but I wouldn't say that I would be rushing to go back and rewatch this film again anytime soon though.
A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon.
And of course, Shaun the Sheep, the movie, did probably do well enough for there to be a sequel, which is Shaun the Sheep movie Farmageddon, which again I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. I remember knowing that this film came out in cinemas when this film first got released in 2019, and for some reason I had no desire to go and see this film on the big screen, but after watching the first Shaun the Sheep film, I decided to give the sequel a watch, and I will say that I think for me, if I had to choose between the two films, I would say that this one had the more better better silly to it, and had a bit more ground to put its feet on than the first movie did. There's a few jokes in here that I did laugh at and did enjoy as well. Maybe I would be interesting. Maybe it would be interesting to see if they did a third Shaun the Sheep movie, whether that one would be well received as well. Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon does have a running time of around 1 hour and 20 minutes, just like the first film, and it is a short movie which for me does tell the story it needed to tell in the short running time that the film does have. I think this is a great family friendly movie for people to watch, and I definitely do recommend people to watch if they are stuck looking for a family adventure movie to watch. I think there is something in this film that all the family can enjoy, no matter the age. Is this a movie that I will go back and rewatch again? I do think so, but like I did say with Shaun the Sheep the movie, and the same goes for Early Man as well, I don't think there are these are movies that I will be rushing to rewatch again, but for now I am happy to have watched them.
Coraline.
Next up is Coraline, which I gave 3.5 stars over on Letterboxd. Well, this has taken me by surprise. I definitely wasn't expecting to watch this film anytime soon because I met up with a friend earlier this week, and because what we had planned to do, which was basically go bowling, we couldn't do due to how busy it was. Thank you to the school holidays, and I really can't wait for the kids to go back to school. And this is someone who doesn't have kids himself. But me and my friend decided to go to the cinema to watch the re-release of Coraline, a film that he has never seen before, and a film that I have seen bits from but not seen the film fully until now. Why was it in cinemas, I hear you ask? Because it was the 15th anniversary of this film being released. It's taken me 15 years to watch the entirety of this film, by the way. But even better is the fact that me and my friends saw this film in 3D as well, which made the movie-going experience even better. So, what did I think of this movie? I thought this was a great film, and I still can't get over the fact it has taken me 15 years to watch this film. But then again, there are some movies on my Letterboxd watch list that I have never seen before, and are probably a lot older than 15 years old. That being said though, I did enjoy this film. It kind of reminded me of a film that Tim Burton would do, like A Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride. I think if I had seen this film 15 years ago when I was a lot younger, then this film would have probably traumatized me, and I'm surprised this film is classed as a family-friendly film, because this animated film is no ordinary animated film. It definitely does have some horror elements in here that could easily have traumatized me when I was a kid if I saw this back then. This might have been a film that was released in 3D in cinemas when it first got released 15 years ago, but seeing it 15 years later in cinemas with the 3D experience, I will say that the 3D animation does hold up 15 years later, and I think there is a few scenes in here which were very comedic that both kids and adults watching this would laugh at for sure. Is this a film I would watch again? There is a likely chance that I could add this to the films that I would watch maybe during the Halloween season or something for sure, which, by the way, at the time of doing this review, spooky season is not too far away.
The Crazies.
The next film I watched was The Crazies, which I gave 3 stars over on Letterboxd. So The Crazies, I will say, is more based on a thriller than horror. It does tend to have its gory moments. I have heard that this film is also a remake as well. I haven't seen the original, and this is actually the first that I heard that this is a remake. But what I do understand, based on other Letterboxd users' experience of the film is that this is more of the better version than the original movie, so I will take their word for it. I will say that there are moments in this film which are brutal. The poster does depict a pitchfork, and there is a pitchfork scene which I do think is quite brutal. Probably the most brutal part of the movie, to be honest, and probably the most goriest moment of the film. The pitchfork scene for me will stand out in this film. If you have seen this movie for yourself, then you will know what I mean. If you haven't, then I do definitely recommend this film. The film was released all the way back in 2010, and I went into this film blind. I didn't know what to expect from this film, but I will say that although this is pretty much a zombie flick film, and yes, the zombie side of horror has been done to death, especially in the 2000s/2010s, I wouldn't say that this film did bring anything too original aside from the pitchfork scene, as mentioned earlier in the review. I thought that the cast did a great job in the roles that they have played. Sadly for me though, I don't think I recognise any of the cast members from other projects that I may have seen them in before. The film does have a running time of 1 hour and 40 minutes, and for me, I did think the pacing for this film wasn't too bad either. It had plenty of room to tell the story that it needed to tell. I will also say that there are moments in this film where I did enjoy the cinematography, especially one scene in particular where it is late at night, the police come over to investigate a house fire, and I love the fact that you can see how badly the fire has got out of control over at the house in the background. While the characters are talking to one another, it doesn't really disrupt what the characters are saying to each other in the scene or distract the viewers too much, so they don't know what the characters just said to one another. But I just think it was a nice piece of cinematography used there. Is this a film that I would watch again? It is likely so, but I do think I will take other Letterboxd users' word for it when they say this is the better film than the original. But I wouldn't say no to watching the original at some point in the future. And is this a film that I would recommend people to watch? If you're a horror/thriller fan, then that doesn't mind watching a zombie movie, then sure, I think you would enjoy this, so I would recommend the film if you are looking for a zombie movie to put on. I did watch this film using the newly free streaming service Tubi here in the UK, so if you live in the UK, that is where you will be able to find this movie. You may just have to put up with 15 seconds of adverts every 20 minutes throughout the movie though.
The Love Witch.
The next movie I watched this week was The Love Witch, which I gave 4 stars over on Letterboxd. I absolutely dug this movie, titled The Love Witch. The film was released back in 2016. I have never heard of this film until I think it was the beginning of this year. And while this film has been on the watch list on Letterboxd for me for a while, I have now seen this movie. So what did I think of this one? I really enjoyed this one so much, to be honest. The reason why I enjoyed it so much was, yes, this movie was released back in 2016, but it doesn't feel like a film that was released in 2016. If you didn't know the release year that this film was released, you could have easily have put this film on and thought it was released in the late 60s/early 70s. And that's what I love about this, is the aesthetic being it is set in what looks like the late 60s, early 70s, when movies were just coming out of the black and white phase and turning into Technicolor, which is what I loved about this movie. Even the sound effects in this film, like when a character punches another character, it sounded like a punch you would have found in those films from the early 70s. And as for the horror, well, given the fact that they are going for the late 60s, early 70s vibes, you don't tend to see a lot of gore in horror that you in this horror that you would find in a modern day horror movie in 2016. And that's because it decided to stay away from the gore. Yes, you do see some bloody scenes in the film, but they depict them in the same way that classic horror movies did in the early 70s, which was great. I thought the acting performances in this film were done really well. The costume designs were great as well, and I love the fact that this was also an integral part in making this film look like a film from the 70s, and even the music scoring, again, made this film sound like it was a film that was released back in the 70s. I did find some of the dialogue rather funny, as well. There was some comedic moments in this film that I did enjoy, and as for the cinematography, I thought the cinematography was absolutely great. Now, in my time of watching movies, I have come across a lot of sex scenes in movies, and this one is no different. There is some sex scenes in this film, but the thing that makes the sex scenes stand out in this film compared to any of the other sex scenes I have seen in any other movie I have seen in that features sex scenes in them, is the fact that it doesn't actually focus on the sex itself between the characters. It actually more focuses on the environment and the atmosphere, and the cinematography that we see in those sex scenes are great because it's very colourful, blurred, and something different and original. We even see some close-up shots of Elaine, the main character's eyes, as well, which I think is very cinematic at times throughout the film. The Love Witch is streaming here in the UK on free streaming service Tubi, and even though it does have a running time of 2 hours, and sometimes it does feel like it's running time at times, I still enjoyed this film a lot. But is this a film I definitely would recommend people to watch? I definitely do think so, because it does do some things in here which I find is original and great to watch, and it definitely does feel like a classic horror movie that you would have found from the 70s.
Blair Witch.
And the final movie that I have seen this week is Blair Witch from 2016, not the original Blair Witch project, but Blair Witch I gave 1.5 star over on Letterboxd. The Blair Witch, Blair Witch, this version at least, was released back in 2016, and I will say that I have never seen the original movie from 1999. Don't worry though, it is on the watch list for me to watch at some point in the future, and I will eventually get around to watching that one. But as for the 2016, did it hold up for me? It sadly didn't. Now, even though I have just mentioned the fact that I have never seen the 1999 version of the original, but I have a feeling that when I do come around to watching it and reviewing it, it wouldn't at all surprise me if I prefer that one to the one that I have watched, because for me, this film just didn't work at all. I know that they are rebooting or remaking the Blair Witch Project in the next few years, so it will be interesting to see how that one pans out, and it will be interesting to see what my thoughts will be on that one when it does come out. Maybe it might be a lot better than this one was. I just couldn't get into this film. The characters, for me, I just felt was very bland and really weak, and also just felt rather boring. This film does have a running time of 1 hour and 29 minutes, and it really does feel like it's running time. There isn't a lot of horror in here, until probably the final act of the movie, where things do become a little more interesting at that point, but I just wish they had kept the momentum going for the first 3 acts of the film to keep me intrigued and keep me interested or invested or engaged in the film, rather than making me feel bored and wondering why I was watching this film in the first place for the first 3 acts of the film. Also, I should point out that we do have the final act in this film, which, as mentioned, does get interesting and is probably the most interesting part for the film, and then the film just ends abruptly, which I found really annoying. Is this a film that I would recommend? I would probably say don't bother watching this, and take it from someone who has yet to see the original movie from 1999. Watch the original instead, because that one might be a lot better than this one. If you do want to check this film out for yourself though, here in the UK, it is currently streaming on the free streaming service Tubi here in the UK. And that is everything that I'm here to talk about in regards to movies in this week's episode of the movie wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what films that you guys have been watching this past week, whether it's old, new, on streaming, in cinemas, or hey, if you're even old school, DVD, Blu-ray, or VHS. And if you don't know what VHS is, Oh boy, then I must be getting old. But anyway, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, if you are new around here and you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Stevo. So your next YouTube video will be out on Monday the 26th of August 2024 at 4 PM UK time. It is my next episode of the weekly vlog. Really look forward to showing that to you guys and letting you guys see what I've been up to over this past week. And of course there'll be another movie wrap up video coming up for you again next weekend on Sunday the 1st of September. I can't believe we're in September nearly already, but yeah, Sunday the it will be Sunday the 1st of September 2024 at 4 PM UK time, so feel free to check that out then. But until then though, it's goodbye. Thank you for watching. I'm going to finish off my sandwich now, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.